Fact finding. Fact findings. Trump supporter has been sentenced to 9 years in prison. Also, Kamala Harris says she's not going to be doing anything for black people. But before we get started with this demonstration, let me read my copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. What that means is that everything that you hear in this demonstration is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Everything that you hear in this video that I call a demonstration is only the opinions of mine and others. Everything that you hear in this demonstration is only allegedly. So, former Colorado clerk Tina Peters, one-time hero to election deniers, convicted in computer breach. We're going to chop it up. We're going to see what the Trump supporters have to say about Tina Peters being convicted. Also, we're going to find out what Kamala supporters have to say about her comments as far as she's not going to be doing anything for black people. Anything that she may do for black people will benefit everyone. So, we're going to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly on both candidates. So, let's see what it says. It says, Denver. Former Colorado clerk Tina Peters, the first local election official to be charged with a security breach after the 2020 election as unfounded conspiracy theories swirled, was found guilty by a jury on most charges on Monday. Peters, a one-time hero to election deniers, was accused of using someone else's security badge to give an expert affiliated with MyPillow chief executive Mike Lindell access to the Massa County election system and deceiving other officials about that person's identity. Salute Perk, salute Perk. Lindell is a prominent promoter of false claims that voting machines were manipulated to steal the election from Donald Trump. His online broadcasting site has been showing a live stream of Peters' trial and sending out daily email updates, sometimes asking for prayers for Peters and including statements from her. Prosecutors said Peters was seeking fame and became fixated on voting problems after becoming involved with those who had questioned the accuracy of the 2020 presidential election results. Now, we know that Trump was accusing the Democrats of cheating in the 2020 election. Salute to Nithya. Salute to Nithya. The breach, Peters was charged of orchestrating, heightening concerns over potential insider threats in which rogue election workers sympathetic to partisan lies could use their access and knowledge to launch an attack from within. Salute, Dirk. It says, Peters was convicted of 3 counts of attempting to influence a public servant, 1 count of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, first-degree official misconduct, violation of duty, and failing to comply with the Secretary of State. She was found not guilty of identity theft, 1 count of conspiracy to commit criminal impersonation, and 1 count of criminal impersonation, rejecting that in those instances, Peters had used the identity of the securities badges owner, a local man named Gerald Wood, without his permission. Peters stood next to one of her attorneys at the defense table as the verdict was read in a quiet courtroom. Judge Matthew Barrett had warned those in the courtroom that he would not tolerate any outbursts. On October the 3rd, she was sentenced to 9 years. In a post on the social media platform X after the verdict, Peters accused Colorado-based Dominion voting systems, which made her county's election system, as well as lawyers for state election officials, of stealing votes. I will continue to fight until the truth is revealed. That was not allowed to be brought during this trial. This is a sad day for our nation and the world, but we will win in the end, she said. Colorado's Secretary of State Gina Griswold, whose office helped launch the investigation into Peters, said she will now face the consequences for compromising her own election equipment, trying to prove Trump's big lie. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser said the verdict sent a message. Today's verdict is a warning to others that they will face serious consequences if they attempt to illegally tamper with our voting process or election systems. I want to be clear. Our elections are safe and fair, he said in a statement. The verdict came just hours after prosecutors urged jurors to convict Peters, saying she deceived government employees so she could work with outsiders affiliated with Lindo. What does this say? Does this say? Now, as I stated before, Trump has mentioned throughout the last 4 years that he was cheated out of the 2020 election by Joe Biden and the Democrat Party. But now we've learned that one of his supporters actually was doing some cheating herself. Salute, Shano. Says, in closing arguments, prosecutor Janet Drake argued that the former clerk allowed a man posing as a county employee to take images of the election system's hard drive before and after a software upgrade in May 2021. Salute, positive vibes. Drake said Peters observed the update so she could become the hero and appear at Lindo's symposium on the 2020 presidential election a few months later. The defendant was a fox guarding the henhouse. It was her job to protect the election equipment, and she turned on it and used her power for her own advantage, said Drake, a lawyer from the Colorado Attorney General's office. Drake has been working for the district attorney in Massa County, a largely Republican county near the Utah border, to prosecute the case. Before jurors had begun deliberating Monday, the defense told them that Peters had not committed any crimes and only wanted to preserve election records after the county would not allow her to have one of its technology experts present at the software update. Salute, Suntan. Now, why is Donald Trump, why is a supporter of Trump trying to steal the election? Defense lawyer John Kay said Peters had to preserve records to access the voting system to find out things like whether anyone from China or Canada had accessed the machine while ballots were being counted. And thank God she did. Otherwise, we really wouldn't know what happened, he said. Peters allowed a former surfer from California affiliated with Lindell, Conan Hayes, to observe the software update and make copies of the hard drive using Wood's security badge. Peters told visiting officials that Hayes, posing as Wood, worked for her. But while prosecutors said Peters committed identity theft by taking Wood's security badge and giving it to Hayes to conceal his identity, the defense said Wood was in on the scheme, so Peters did not commit a crime by doing that. We need to talk, y'all. We need to talk. And the reason why we need to talk is because now, of course, Wood denied that when he testified during the trial. Political activist Sharona Bishop, who helped introduce Peters to people working with Lindell, testified that Wood knew his identity would be used based on a signal chat between her, Wood, and Peters. No agreement was spelled out in the chat. The day after the first image of the hard drives was taken, Bishop testified that she posted a voice recording in the chat. The content of that recording was not included in screenshots of that chat introduced by the defense. The person identified as Wood responded to that unknown message by saying, "I was glad to help out. I do hope the effort proved fruitful according to the screenshots." All right, y'all, let's chop this up. Let's chop this up. Can I get my Trump supporters to come to the front of the class? What are y'all thoughts on this? What are y'all thoughts on this? Now, this is Tina Peters. She has been convicted and she has been sentenced to 9 years in prison. She made a comment that she can't go to prison because she don't have her mattress that she needs. See, this is one thing that I say all the time when people are out here breaking the law. And this is why I try to get you all to just do the right thing. Because when it's time to go to prison, when it's time to go to jail, prison is prison. You know what I mean? Look, unless you with the feds, unless the feds got you. But for the most part, prison is prison. And you don't get to choose what kind of mattress. You don't get to choose what kind of mattress they gonna give you when you locked up. You don't get to choose nothing. You don't get to choose what time you eat. You don't get to choose what time you take your shower. You don't get to choose none of this. Shano says 9 years on a Fed charge. You know, so hey, if y'all into breaking the law and if y'all into, going to jail and going to prison, hey, that's fine with me. But stop crying. Stop crying when you go. And stop complaining about the conditions of being locked up. It comes with the territory. You're locked up. You did a crime. They charge you with a crime that they either found you guilty or you pleaded guilty to. So you're going to be rehabilitated. You're going to be punished for that crime that you committed. You don't get to choose your mattress. You should have thought of that before you committed the crime. But I want to talk to the Trump supporters because I want to know, how do y'all feel about her being found guilty? Do y'all think it was a fair trial? Do y'all think that her actions should reflect Trump? Give me some thoughts. Salute my boo. My boo. Salute. Appreciate you for pulling up. How is it that we went from Trump accusing Biden and the Democrats of stealing the election from him and cheating, to now we have a Republican, we have a Trump supporter that has been convicted of the very same thing that Trump accuses Biden and the Democrat Party of doing to him. Also, the two individuals that was involved in those two assassination attempts, both of them were Republicans. So I need for the Trump supporters, I need for you all to clear up some things. Also, I need for the Democrat, I need for the Kamala Harris supporters, I need for y'all to clean up some things as well. So if you are here for a good conversation, if you are here to keep an open mind, and if you are here to be honest and act like grown folks, I welcome you all. Salute William. William says, oh, hold on. What about Baby Oil Man supporting Kamala? Now, we could speak on Baby Oil Man supporting Kamala, but I don't want to make this about Baby Oil Man. Even though I'll take y'all comments and I'll hear what y'all have to say. But for the most part, I don't want to make this strictly about Baby Oil Man. And please, no profanity in the chat. Please, no curse words. Please, no profanity. If you have to say the ish, just say S. Just use the letter S. If you got to, the BS, just say BS. If you got to use the F, just use the F. You know what I'm saying? Slice it up. But please, y'all, respect the chat. Do not use no profanity in the chat. Other than that, your opinion is welcome. Salute, Sharon. Salute, Sharon. This is her. So now she's been convicted. She's been convicted. They give her 9 years. And that's Tina Peters. All right. So here's more. Here's more. So it says, former Colorado County Clerk Tina Peters, a hero to election conspiracy theorists, who is accused of orchestrating a breach of election security equipment, was trying to prevent voting information from being erased, her lawyer said at the start of her trial. Under the laws in place in 2021, when Peters allowed a man who prosecutors say was working with My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell to make a copy of a Dominion voting system computer's hard drive. She was allowed to hire a consultant to make such a copy, defense attorney Amy Jones said during opening statements. She believed she needed to save that data, said Jones, who denied that copy was made. But prosecutor Robert Shapiro portrayed the man as a cyber mercenary who Peters brought in without conducting a background check and committed identity theft by passing him off as another person who had obtained clearance to work for her office. He said Peters contacted the man who has not been charged after she met with Douglas Frank, another person working with Lindell, one of the nation's most prominent election conspiracy theorists. Frank, an Ohio math teacher, had been traveling around the country looking for evidence of voter fraud when he met with Peters and she hatched the plan, he said. Sharon says, I'm trying to understand what I am voting for. And that's where I'm at, Sharon, and the rest of the good people out there. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you vote for Trump, it's issues. If you vote for Kamala, it's issues. You know, I guess is what they say. Vote for the lesser of two evils. Also, they all belong to the same bird, just different branches. So my thing is this: what are we going to expect from this 2024 presidential election? What are we looking for? What are we looking for? Are we looking for better jobs? Are we looking for stronger border patrols? Exactly what are we looking for? Because the many times that I've covered both sides to me have good policies, have good ideas. I could point out some negativity in Kamala. I could pull out some negativity in Trump. So what's the big deal? Somebody tell me what's the big deal. Now I'm going to look at it from an American's perspective. I'm not going to look at it from a black man's perspective. I'm going to look at it just from a straight, regular American citizen who benefits the country. At the end of the day, in my opinion, it's who's going to benefit the country. It's not so much as who's going to do things for this community, who's going to do things for that group of people. We have to look at the president as the president of the United States of America. With that being said, which one is going to do right by the people of America? I'll wait. I'll wait. Which one is going to do right by the American people? Can somebody better help me understand? Shano says none of them. America is a business. They're going to do what makes money. Stop right there. Because, yes, America is a business. America is a LLC. America is a corporation. And I agree with Shano. It's all about the money. And if you think that is not, maybe you could share something with me and Shano to enlighten us. At the end of the day, it's all about the money. And that's why when Trump was running back in 2016, this is why the majority of the people wanted Trump to become the president, because we all felt like Trump's a businessman. We're tired of the politicians. So let's let Trump get in office. Because, as Shano said, it's a business. Now, this is a guide to Trump's second term. Promises. Now, it's talking about immigration. It's talking about the economy. It's talking about foreign policy and more. Exactly what is Trump? Let's do some fact finding. Remember, I said when we come back to do the politic demonstrations, I said that I want to focus on, for these last 30 days, I want to focus on the policies. I want to get down to the policies that each candidate is pushing. As he's campaigned to win back the White House, former President Donald Trump has made a lot of big promises. Since its founding in 2007, one of PolitiFact's cornerstones has been tracking the progress or lack thereof sitting presidents have made on their campaign promises. We've done it for Barack, Trump, and Joe Biden. We include on our list only promises made by presidents and not by outside groups. It says, we found that Trump, during his presidency, kept 23% of 102 campaign promises. He enacted a compromise for 22% of them and earned a promise broken on just more than a half. So they said he kept 23% of the 102 campaign promises. It says, since Trump announced his latest bid, he's made a flurry of new promises. It says, in all, we've identified more than 100 promises he's made at rallies and other events, some of which build on his first term promises and some of which are new. Many of them are far-reaching. See, this is where I'm at. It's time to get down to business. I want us to get down to business. It says, carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history. Add a 10% tariff to all non-domestic goods sold in the U.S. End the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours. Fully pardon people convicted of storming the Capitol on January the 6th, 2021. Provide a middle class, upper class, lower class business class, big tax cut. What are y'all thoughts? Let's stay right here for a second, and then we're going to move forward. But let's stay right here. So it listed 5 different promises. One of the promises he listed was to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, add a 10% tariff to all non-domestic goods sold in the U.S., end the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours, fully pardon people convicted of storming the Capitol on January the 6th, 2021, provide a middle class, upper class, lower class, business class, big tax cut. Quan says, okay, I can respond to all 5. Please share with us, Quan. Salute, beautiful. I see you, beautiful. Please share with us, Quan. Polly Pocket says 45 to stay alive, no income tax. I'll tell you one of them I disagree with. I disagree with fully pardon those that were convicted of storming the Capitol on January the 6th. I disagree with that. Salute, German. German says he's lying. And the reason why I disagree with it is because what those Trump supporters done on January the 6th, 2021 was uncalled for. What they done was uncalled for. And I believe that anyone that participated in the Capitol, the storming of the Capitol building on January the 6th, 2021, I feel that they that were convicted, I feel that they should have to serve out whatever prison time or jail time that they were given. They were wrong. Sure, they made a mistake. We all make mistakes. But the difference between most of us and those that stormed the Capitol building, most of us take accountability. And most of us don't get pardons when we make a mistake. Most of us have to lay in the bed that we made. So why are they any different? So I disagree with the pardon for those that were convicted in storming the Capitol. Salute, Jonathan. Jonathan says some of those people got years for it, dude. They shouldn't have to serve that much time. They did not do anything that bad. Well, there are many people that were convicted. See, it's not about whether or not they got a lot of time. It's about them committing the crime, and now Trump comes along and he goes on and he pardons them. Jonathan says, how about we stop pardoning people whenever they get in trouble out on the street, letting them out of jail? We're not talking about the people in the streets. I'm not going to let you mix them into this. You know, the people that's in the streets, they don't got nothing to do with this. We're going to focus on those that were convicted of storming the Capitol building on January the 6th. Quan says number 2. I ain't catch the number 1, Quan. You're going to probably have to send it back, Quan, because I ain't catch your number 1. Quan says number 2, tariffs don't mean more money for the U.S. particularly. He's placing a 200% tariff on all tractors being sold into the U.S. That means farmers are having to pay for majority expenses, tractors. Beautiful says people got unalive. They did a whole lot wrong. That's facts. Quan says, why aren't you responding to my messages? I only seen your message that says number 2, Quan. I only seen your message that said number 2. I didn't see the other ones. Jonathan says, could you be more specific about what crime that was? We have it on video of the Capitol Police letting people in the building. I mean, we all know what we saw. Now, As I said before, I'm big on accountability. And I'm big on not pushing someone's accountability off on other people. You get caught for a crime and you want to talk about other people that got caught for a crime. You get sentenced to 20 years in prison and you want to talk about people that got sentenced 3 years in prison. That's not what I'm on right now. I'm on, you got caught doing a crime, you got charged, you got prosecuted, you got found guilty, then you need to serve your time. You need to serve your time. So I disagree with the pardons. I disagree with those that Trump wants to pardon that was convicted on storming the Capitol building. Positive says you going to get Shank on one. I'm trying my best not to get on one. Positive. I'm trying. Look, that's why I switch lanes. Y'all see, I switch lanes to keep from me getting on one. I said, let me do the demonstrations a little different now. Maybe if I don't show my face, well, I know if I don't show my face, I don't got to worry about my troublemakers roasting me. But I said, maybe if I don't show my face, maybe I ain't got to worry about getting on one. But I'm trying my best positive vibes. But some people just don't know. Jonathan says, I just don't understand how this could be considered any different than any other crime. A lot of these people have never even been in trouble. Why would they not get probation? Denithia says, right on, Jonathan. The same is with building the wall and the border. We are paying for that, not Mexico. Beautiful says, positive, he must have been there or one of his family members. Beautiful says, you still ball and shining. Salute Jason. Jason says he's charging the tariff on foreign tractors, probably. So what he's doing is making America-made tractors being brought over foreign ones. I agree with that. I agree with the tax. Quan says, since you're ignoring the deportation question for the tax cut, if you look at Project 2025, the cost of living for middle-class Americans will be $4,000 more. Jonathan says, I agree with you if you have them on tape doing something violent, but why would they not get probation? I mean, I don't know why they didn't get probation. I know a lot of people, they first offense, they got prison time. That don't work all the time, you know. That don't work all the time. As a juvenile, most likely it's going to work for a juvenile, first-time offender. Non-violent crimes, first offenders, normally when it's non-violent crimes, they get probation, but not all the time. Not all the time. Everybody's case is different. Everybody's case is different. Let me just speak on let me see. Let me speak on health and human services. Let me speak on health and human services. And then we're going to move on to why Kamala Harris says she's not going to do nothing for black people. But let me read this health and human services, and then we'll move on to Kamala Harris comments. Health and human services. It says, Trump has vowed to cut federal programs, including abolishing the education department, but has promised to spare Social Security and Medicaid. However, without changes such as raising the age for receiving Social Security, the programs are set to run out of money in about 10 to 15 years. During his June the 27th debate with Biden, Trump said he would not block the abortion drug mifepristone, which some abortion opponents have sought to curb. Trump has also promised to cap the cost of prescription drugs at the same level other countries pay. Experts have told PolitiFacts that this is possible, but would likely involve a structural overhaul of the U.S. healthcare system, making it difficult. Trump has also promised to withdraw from the World Health Organization. Jonathan says, yeah, keep it cool, man. Everybody's just here to talk, not make each other mad. Quan says lies. Quan says he's ending Medicare and Medicaid entirely. He's cutting funding. Quan says Kamala is already doing it and has done it, laughing out loud. Positive Vibe says Shank is focused today. He's saying all the words right. I had to switch lanes. I had to switch lanes. I had to get away from my troublemakers. I said, let me switch lanes a little bit. But Trump, how do y'all feel about Trump wanting to withdraw from the World Health Organization? Part of me say, yeah, go for it. Part of me says, nay. So I'm caught in the middle when it comes to Trump wanting to withdraw from the World Health Organization. But he said he would not block that abortion drug. However, without changes such as raising the age for receiving Social Security, the programs are set to run out of money in about 10 to 15 years. Jason says Social Security has been known for years now that there's going to be no funds left by the time my generation goes to retire, no matter who's president. That was going to happen. That's a good point. That's a good point, Jason. Positive says, not a smart move on that. We need to know what's going on around the world, especially in the health department. Quan says, well, if he leaves one organization, such as the World Health Organization, he'll leave larger organizations such as NATO. He's already told Trump he could do whatever the hell he wants. And one thing that we can all agree when it comes to Trump, Trump is going to do what the hell he wants to do. Sometimes, see, with Trump, it's 50-50. 1 minute I be pumping my fist saying, yeah, Trump, yeah. Then I'll be putting my fist down like, I might not want to do that. So with me, for Trump, sometimes as a leader, sometimes you do have to do what you feel is best to make things right. I mean, that could be a man, that could be a woman, that could be your parents, that could be your teachers, that could be your supervisor. To me, that's human nature. That's a part of human nature. Doing what you may feel is making the best choice. All the time, the people might not agree with you. But for me, we need a leader, we need a president that's not going to be so concerned with if he or she makes the people mad. Look, y'all just gonna have to get mad at me, but I gotta do what I gotta do. Now, when I see Kamala completely different from the way that I see Trump. I see Kamala as going along to get along. Like, I don't see her putting her foot down. Like with Trump, I see Trump, if he got to go out on his own, then he gonna do what he gotta do. Whereas though with Kamala, Kamala is not gonna wanna offend certain people. And we can see that by the different communities that she's backing. Now, y'all could take it how y'all want to take it, but for anybody, for any president to focus on a transformer that's in prison and getting surgery done, y'all do know that. She's, passing this law, passing these bills, so the transformers in prison now, not on the streets, not transformers that are working and paying taxes. She's giving rights to prisoners. I mean, now this is something that I strongly disagree on, and I'll challenge anybody. It's no way in the world. Listen now, she's not giving that right to a male prisoner. She's not giving the right to a female prisoner. She's given the right to a transformer prisoner to be able to receive surgery. I need all Kamala Harris supporters to pull up to the front. Trump supporters, y'all step back for a second. The Trump supporters, step back for a second. Kamala Harris supporters, I need for y'all to pull up and help me understand. What part of the game is this? How can someone that's incarcerated, that's doing time in prison, how do they have a right to have surgery, and the surgery is paid for by the state? I don't see no Kamala Harris supporters. I see why. I'm waiting for a Kamala Harris supporter to pull up and explain that part to me. I'll wait. Still, no Kamala Harris supporters have pulled up to the front to address this. See, it's fine when we're addressing the issues with Trump. It's fine. The Kamala Harris supporters don't have no problem with pulling up front when I'm giving the good, the bad, and the ugly on Trump. But the second I give the good, the bad, and the ugly on Kamala, it's crickets from the Kamala Harris supporters. But whenever y'all do decide to pull up, answer that. Maybe y'all can answer me in the chat. Maybe y'all can answer me on the replay. Everybody on the replay gang, answer that for me. Still no Kamala Harris supporters? All right. Maybe y'all can answer me on this one. Drop a 1 in the chat if y'all voting for Kamala Harris. Drop a 2 if y'all voting for Trump. Salute, Tammy. Salute, Tammy. Appreciate you for pulling up. Salute, Tammy. All right, y'all.
Again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. Disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. Do you support reparations for Black people? Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery.
It was a yes or no question. She asked Kamala Harris, do you support reparations for Black people? It's a simple yes or no question. Look at her facial expression. The face tells it all. The eyes tells it all. A simple yes or no answer for the question. She never answered yes or no. Let's listen.
Do you support reparations for Black people? Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination and segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular,
she sounds like the average white person that disagrees with reparations for Black people. When you talk to a white person or another, let's say a Hispanic or anybody that's not Black, the first thing that they say is the same thing that Kamala says. They start talking about other people didn't have it good. They talk about the struggle, the trials and tribulations that they went through as immigrants. They talk about all of this extra stuff, but none of them has endured what Black people have endured in the United States of America and all over the world. No race of people, no group of people has had their nationality taken from them. When you talk to the Irish people will tell you our people were slaves, but the Irish people still can identify with their land, their language, their culture, and their identity. When you speak to the Jews, when you speak to any group of people besides Black Americans, if you ask the average Black America today, what is your nationality? They're going to tell you they don't know their nationality. And for those that do know their nationality, they haven't claimed their nationality. But let's come back to her, y'all. Let's come back to her.
And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that.
But everybody can get from the government, everybody can receive benefits off of the sweat, the tears, and the blood that Black people have laid down. Who do y'all think the civil rights were for? Who do y'all think started the civil rights? But did you know that those that started the civil rights, those who have been marching and protesting for 300 plus years for basic civil rights, hasn't received any of those rights? However, you have many that come over by the boatload benefit off of the civil rights immediately. See, when you're talking about black people and when you're talking about what's owed to us, it's not like we outside looking for hand-me-outs. It's not like we're asking for something that isn't owed to us. So when you talk about everybody has started from somewhere, yeah, but how come is it black people are the only ones with the obstacles that's intended, purposely placed in front of us? Y'all don't want to talk about that, do y'all? Y'all want to talk about black people getting over 400 plus years of slavery, discrimination, racial profiling, redlining. Shall I go on? I can if you want me to.
And do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit black children, black families, black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society.
Stop right there. Any policy that will benefit black people will benefit all of society. Now, you can't say that when you are uplifting and doing for other communities. The Asian hate bill, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but the Asian hate bill only benefits who? The Asian hate bill only benefits Asians. The Asian hate bill don't benefit all of society or everybody else in America. Now do it. I'll wait. I'll wait. See, now when it comes to the Asians, having their agendas and their issues pushed, right? Nothing is said. Nothing is said to an Asian that's trying to get an Asian agenda pushed. Because it's an Asian, and Asians have a right, to have their issues addressed. And not only do they have a right to have their issues addressed, they have a right to be compensated or whatever it is that they're fighting for. They have a right to have that bill passed. Well, what's the difference from a black bill being passed? Oh, I forgot. If a black bill is to be passed, it got to benefit everybody. Do y'all see the hypocrisy? Do y'all see the hypocrisy? But the Asian hate bill don't benefit everybody. So why do a black bill have to benefit everybody? Why anything we get, it got to benefit everybody? But when the others get their bills passed, it's only for that particular group.
Let's be clear about about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people.
Did y'all hear what she said? Let's be specific. I'm not going to say I'm going to do something just going to benefit only black people. Did you hear what she said? Maybe I got wax in my ears, but they're going to slow it down so you can hear it.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people.
But you have 76% of black people saying that we need to vote for Kamala just because she's a black woman. 76% of blacks say that we should vote for Kamala just because she's a black woman, and it's all about uplifting the black woman. I'm all for uplifting the black woman, but at the same time, I'm not for supporting a black woman that's not going to support me and my people.
So I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna do something that's only gonna benefit black people.
If you put a Hispanic man or woman in the White House, you know what the Hispanic man or woman that's going to become the president, we already know what that Hispanic man or woman is going to do. The Hispanic man or woman is going to push Hispanic issues. It's no way around it. If you put a president, if you put an Irish man or woman in there, if you put a Nigerian man or woman in there, if you put any nationality, a Filipino man or woman, you can best believe that Filipino president of the United States of America is going to push Filipino issues. You can bet that. And that Filipino president is going to be proud that he or she is pushing Filipino issues. And you know what? Won't nobody open up their mouth about that Filipino president pushing Filipino issues. Nobody will open up their mouth about a Hispanic president pushing Hispanic issues. Only when it's us. Only when it's a black person that's in there. When it's not us, nobody says anything. When it's us, no matter what it is that we are trying to accomplish in life, the people have a problem with it. The people don't want to see black people with nothing. They start to make all these wild, out-of-pocket comments. Man, them black people don't need no money. Man, them black people, if the black people wasn't lazy, man, if the black people wasn't into killing each other, they make up all the excuses in the world to prevent black people from gaining and having anything, because the last time I checked, 13% of black people are lazy. 17% of black people are in the streets. Y'all do know that. So y'all let me know. I'll wait. I'll take some comments from the chat. Let me see who in the chat. Salute, Miss Parker. Salute, Capricorn Chronicles. Salute, Cotan. Salute, Carlos. Carlos says she is Irish and Indian, so blacks are out of luck with Kamala. Salute, not on my watch. Salute, Cole. Cole says, I vote for her because I would rather have her instead of a Trump, and Trump does not support people. Idiot. Carlos says she's not black and she can't tell you what a woman is. I'm not going to hold y'all that much longer. I originally was supposed to have done this demonstration tomorrow. Ratho Fire says, women for Trump 2024. He will help fix this Twilight Zone America we have now. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Salute. I will see you all tomorrow. Salute.